we're at the Polynesian, back in our room.
Yeah.
Because it was too hard to share our thoughts about Luminous? What's it called? We came back and we might possibly have had a cupcake. Maybe, from Captain Cook's. So, okay. Now, we wanted to do a video about Luminous because we'd watched several different viewpoints on YouTube, but I know that the people are going to come back and say, well, you haven't seen it in person, so you can't give a real, your real thoughts on it until you've seen it in person. Now we've seen it in person, and we saw it from kind of the perfect vantage point, too.
Kind of dead center.
So.
Yeah. There were some...
Thoughts?
Well, the crowd that was there wasn't the greatest. They didn't make watching it.
The crowd made the experience not very pleasant.
Very pleasant.
So I was trying to watch it, and I had a big group of
they're like teenage boys.
Teenage boys, yeah, next to me. And look, I'm a teacher. I teach middle school, so like I'm very tolerant of young people, and I am very tolerant and accepting of young people having fun and enjoying themselves, and I want that. But they would not stop talking.
They just stopped
the entire thing. And the guy next to me was the chattiest one. And they were just going on and on and on.
It's like, if you don't want to watch the show, then
don't go to the show.
Don't go to the show.
Why are you at the show? Like, we were in a really primo, like a prime viewing spot for the show, where people were standing so that they could see unobstructed good views of the show. And these people were talking straight through. Lots of people, but in particular the ones right next to me. But there were lots of people talking.
Yeah, there was a lot of people talking. That at least tells me that, like, I think that it didn't like capture people, at least. Yeah, well, I thought, it'll start. Maybe it was the impact of having so many tour groups. Well, but it's like,
I thought once it starts, they'll get engaged with the show. They'll be interested in the show, and they'll get quieter. They never got quieter. No, finally, at a certain point, was during the quieter part, and there was the narration in there. And I think she was talking about loss, and grief, and it was like, it's very, like, tonally, like, very heavy.
Yeah.
Right there. These guys are still going, blah, 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 a mile a minute, and I just kind of turned to them, and I was just like, shh, I'm listening. Because I couldn't even understand the narration. There is a lot of narration in this. And it was annoying because I couldn't understand it over the people talking. So, which begs the question, if there's a show that requires me to hear the narration, maybe that's not a great fit when you're in this crowd and there are all these people around you. I couldn't understand exactly what was going on. And if I hadn't already seen it numerous times online, I would have been lost at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So one thing that I thought was really cool, two things actually.
So don't do that.
Two things that I liked better about seeing it in person. One was they had kind of some of the fireworks were actually like a spinner.
Yeah,
that kind of went around and up. I could not see that from the online videos. So it felt like we were really close to the fireworks and things and the barges. So that was cool that you could actually see the spinning effect. I liked that.
I didn't realize in some of the other videos that, like, the barge has some light strips on it.
It does have light strips. That kind of, like,
pretty minimal. They're minimal, but they're still there, so if
helps.
there's, like, nothing
and then I actually was able to get a really good view, and I'll drop some video in and show it, of that middle tower. There's, like, the pole with, like, the middle kind of thing on it with fireworks. That was cool because when you see that big, like, kind of dome, like that dome shape of fireworks, the way they're making that, I could see how they were creating that up close. And so it's like they blast out the fireworks, but they aren't just, like, set in an array in every direction. It's like they blast them, but then it kind of goes like the thing, like pans. It doesn't, this is panning. Anyway, it tilts up or down. And so that was really cool. It was neat to see, like, the mechanics behind it, but that has nothing to do with, like, my enjoyment of the show. Yeah, that was just like, oh, cool. Now I can see how they did that up close. Yeah, that's interesting. So, where does this fit in the hierarchy of Epcot shows? So, for me, the shows that I've seen in my time are Illuminations,
Harmonious,
Epcot Forever, Harmonious, and Luminous. I want to say Illuminous.
Yeah, I want to say Illuminous. I think it's Luminous.
So what's
the story of us?
So for me, this is, I guess Epcot Forever is 4.
Yeah, Epcot Forever 4. But Epcot Forever is kind of a throwaway. It's not really even like...
Yeah, it wasn't meant to ever really be anything. Really and then... I guess this one.
Luminous.
3.
Yeah.
Luminous. And then Harmonious. No, and then... Illuminations. And then number 1 would be Harmonious for me. And actually, I would even say...
I'd agree with that.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I might actually like Epcot Forever better than this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I found it more entertaining.
Veggie, fruit.
I think I might have found it more entertaining. So...
Waiting for the barges was...
Oh, really, God. Really this is a whole... Oh, my gosh. This is a whole other thing. So for all you people who hated the Harmonious barges, which didn't really bother us, it would be nice if we didn't have to have them, but whatever. I liked that the barges didn't have to go in and out. We got stuck trying to get to trying to get to Cosmic Rewind. Yeah. And we had, the clock's ticking. We're trying desperately to get over there on time. And we get stuck with the bridge goes up at the Africa Outpost. Yeah. And we have to watch all the barges. There are still barges, and they have to go in.
Still have to go in.
And so we're standing there in this big mob of people.
I'm thinking, did they come in only that gate, or did they come in other gates too?
No, that's the only place.
Did they do it twice, or because I thought only maybe? Well, anyways, it took a long time, and that really disrupted traffic.
It was really disruptive and really annoying because
it wasn't just the 10 minutes of waiting there. It was also the 10 minutes for traffic.
Terrible traffic jam afterwards.
Clear up afterwards.
And so that made, I was like, well, this show better be good.
Yeah.
Because it's messing up our day.
Mm-hmm. Did you love it?
Well, it's no Phantom of the Opera. As my mother would say. Whenever I take her to a show, no matter what it is, well, it's no Phantom of the Opera.
Did you like the fireworks? Are they better than Harmonious? Fireworks might be better.
Fireworks are okay.
They're kind of cool.
They're pretty good.
How about water effects? I did think I liked their water effects. The one effect that was really cool was they had one where all the lights were pointing up at the same time. I was like,
I mean, there's some nice. There's some nice moments.
Yeah, definitely nice moments. It's too start and stop. Too much start and stopping.
Yeah, and so for the people who said, go see it in person, your opinion's not valid till you see it in person. Well, I've seen it in person, and I hate to say it, but my opinion of it went down seeing it in person. I liked it less. So, Randall, is this better than Harmonious?
No.
Is this a must-see?
If you had to go do Cosmic Rewind, I would go do Cosmic Rewind. Let's put it that way. Go do Cosmic Rewind over this. If you have to go do Cosmic Rewind over this.
Does it matter where you watch it from?
No.
I'm going to say yes. This was supposed to be the show that you could watch from anywhere and you got the exact same view. Totally disagree. Because we watched views from Italy, and we watched some views from other parts out in the showcase. We watched it. So that's what we saw on YouTube. We watched it physically in person between, right at the entry to the port of entry area, between those two shops. We watched it right there where there's that stage, right in dead center, right in the spine of Epcot. We watched it perfectly there, and we were way closer to everything than if you watched it in the other areas, at the back section of, I was saying, I saw so much more detail. I didn't like the experience better in terms of the show, but it was not the same view and it didn't look the same. I saw it differently. So this thing where people are like, it doesn't matter where you stand. It's a different experience in different places. Now, it doesn't change. I don't like it better.
The effects are going to be the same all the way
the
around.
overall effect is different or the same, but like it's still lopsided. It's lopsided in the lagoon. It doesn't sit in the middle of the lagoon.
I see what you're saying. What I'm saying. It's just closer to...
It's closer to one area.
Yeah, over the others.
Yeah. So anyway, the people who said you got to see it in person, I'm sorry, it didn't improve upon it.
Is this a must-see, Jen?
No. If you're there and it's convenient and you can make it, we waited about 3 minutes to see it, and we had perfect front and center view seats.
Yeah.
Or not seats, standing room.
Yeah.
Do not spend an hour getting a spot for this show. I would not spend an hour. I would not wait for a spot to watch it. We just walked right up. Watched the thing, walked away.
Is it the best Epcot show?
No. It's okay. It's the okayest Epcot show. You're gonna have an okay time watching this show. And all the people around us had a totally okay time.
Yeah.
So okay that they wouldn't even stop talking to each other.
Yeah.
Conversations all around us.
All around.
They would not stop even talking for even a second to acknowledge the show happening in front of their faces.
Yeah, they really were disengaged. And
that was not ever our experience, even with Epcot Forever.
Yeah.
All the other shows that we'd seen, like, people were, like, fully engaged in it.
One last question. Would you do it again?
Oh, that's a good question. Would I watch it again? If I have nothing else going on. If I have nothing else going on.
If you forced me to.
No, like if I had someone with me who had never seen a show on the lagoon at Epcot, you know, I'd be like, yeah, let's go watch it. But we're gonna walk up 3 minutes before it starts.
Yeah,
like we're not gonna wait for a spot.
If it's your one-time trip to Epcot,
sure.
Then
are we gonna see it? Like, on the bright side, this means we just have more time to like do rides and attractions, because we're not going to go out of our way for this. Now, one thing we did note about this show is that sometimes we stay at Riviera, and if we have a standard view and we're facing out towards Epcot, this show will probably be more enjoyable from far away.
Yeah.
So when you're like up on the, you know, if you're on your balcony at Riviera, you're watching the show, or you have a view kind of from Boardwalk or something. I think that this show will translate well. It'll read well from really far away. But as far as the experience up close and personal, yeah.
And
look, here's the thing. All the people who worked really hard on this, like, my respect to you. Like, I am not not putting down any of your efforts, because I understand that you have these constraints to work with. And
you don't really have control over the show.
Right. Like,
most of the people don't have any
right. Like, control. We get that, like, they were trying to, like, not repeat all the same music from Harmonious, and not repeating all the same stuff in, you know, Happily Ever After that's currently running. And, like, we get there's, like, all these considerations, and they have a budget, and they only have so much they can do. I totally get that. And so it's not anything disparaging to any of those people or their choices. I just am still absolutely baffled why you would take this show that was so good, Harmonious was so good, and then you would remove it and then put in something that was so clearly not as good. And is it just because of the barges? Because the barges, I mean, that's, I don't.
I do wonder if, like, one day we're gonna get, like, a Harmonious Returns, and it's just with these barges, which would be perfectly fine.
That would be fine with me.
We would be totally fine with that.
Yeah, if you did Harmonious with all this infrastructure, like, I would be fine with that.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Fine. But yeah, this show is not gonna stick around for a long time, I don't think.
Yeah, but I think the barges will no matter what.
Yeah, they'll probably just have to retool that every time. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so this show, and there are a few, don't get me wrong, there are like some really nice moments.
Yeah.
Really nice moments. But like our family turns on the soundtrack to Harmonious, sings along to it. The kids request it all the time. We want to listen to Harmonious in the car. We want to sing along. Do we have enough time to listen to Harmonious? And
I've played this a couple times for them, and they don't
just
ask
like
at
can't
all.
get into it.
Just not connect with it. So.
Yeah, and Epcot Forever we liked better. We liked the music better in that. But even though it was kind of silly. Who doesn't love that? All right, so I think we're going to say goodnight. This was like the longest thing ever.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to say goodnight. Thank you so much for joining us. The next day of our vlog is going to be really exciting because we are going on our very first Disney cruise on the Disney Wish. Ooh. So stick around, stay tuned for the next vlog. It's going to be
epic.
And first for us, so very, very exciting. All right, we're going to go to bed, get some rest, and get ready to go on a Disney cruise. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.